Hi, everybody. This is Michael Gober from Shopkeeper, the Amazon seller dashboard made by Amazon sellers. And we're here today with Oleg Zaydener of Navigator, who provides a really compelling service to Amazon sellers that we're excited to talk about and share with our community today. Oleg, how are you?
Good, good. Thank you for having me here.
It's a pleasure.
Excited.
Thank you for spending time with us. Instead of me introducing you, I'd love for you to tell our community a little bit about Navigator and what it is that you do for Amazon sellers, and who are the sellers that are most appropriate to be learning about your service.
Okay, sure. So to make it really focused, we work only with private label or brands in general. This is number one. Dropshipper, arbitrage, I have no idea about it, so we'll rather focus on the private labels. Also, we work with brands that growth minded. So if you want to grow, we're here to help you. Usually the problems that people call us is if the business is flat. It's very easy to start an Amazon business, launch few products, but then it's kind of a bottleneck. Some people think it's execution or logistics or whatever. Of course, there is a lot of problems, but we focus on how to multiply sales, how to get maximum of the market share on the Amazon platform. Another problem that many our customers mention is like, I have amazing product, I put my soul in it, and it's amazing reviews and customers loves it, but this competitor probably from this country, I don't want to be offending anyone, but this is a mention, they sell 3 times more, 5 times more. Why? My product is better. And usually there is a scientific reasons, and we measure it and try to work on it. So yeah. And another problem that many people come to us again is like, yeah, I spend on the PPC thousands and it's all of my profit, and I see the potential, but it doesn't work. So this is it. If you have some of the problems, you're probably on the right webinar.
I see. Okay. So just to summarize, to make sure I understand. So first, you're talking about sellers, so only private label sellers. And if you've gotten to the point where you've built a business, but you're experiencing some bottlenecks in your growth, then that's where Navigator can come into play. Another scenario is trying to increase your market share. You have a great product that you believe in, but you're dealing with competition, and you want to focus specifically on how to expand your market share relative to some other competitors in a similar product. And then the third scenario, which we hear about all the time, is there seems to be a large opportunity. You've got to spend PPC to get there, but the private label seller just can't get the numbers to work. So they need to optimize their campaigns in order to move just from spending to actually generating profits. So those are, is that fair? Those are the 3 kind of high level scenarios where a Navigator can come and add value. Is that right?
This is the main problems that we're dealing with, and I will be happy to provide the tools we use on a daily basis. So
great. So I'd love to understand those tools, and for you to share that. Maybe you can just explain a little bit, why are you the right person to be doing this? Tell us a little bit about your background and how you're the one that has the expertise to really solve these problems.
Like I love to tell my story, but I try to keep it short and informative, and not. So I came to Amazon in 2015, and my previous experience is my background is computer science, data science, huge databases, and previous companies that I co-founded and we sold. Before it was revenue management for hotel businesses, so we help huge hotels like Las Vegas, big ones, manage the inventory and sell it on the maximum. So I'm a software guy. I'm not a salesperson, but I came with exactly the same approach that we did with the revenue management for the huge hotel chains, and the mindset of a computer scientist. And basically, we did almost in year and in few months, we brought our private label to 7-figure. So my partner was doing all the logistic and all this supply chain. Said, I don't know how to deal with it. So don't ask me any question about the question. But all the parts on the Amazon, how to compare the market share, how to get to the first page, and it was exciting and easy for me because it's like Google 10 years ago. So
Yes.
I like to talk to algorithms, so it was really.
Yeah.
But then every product we launch went out of stock, and eventually I even made a T-shirt for myself, out of stock again. I was super excited about it, but then I realized that this is a disaster from a business perspective.
Yes.
So you need to build a system. So I brought software developers from my previous projects, and I was building software for myself. And I don't know if you heard about Amazal. This is the first project that went out from our garage, and then a Navigator. And then I joined my another co-founder in the Navigator, Alexander. He is I call him #1 PPC guru in Russian-speaking community. So he was teaching Amazon PPC from, I think, 2016. And we basically share very similar approach. So we built our processes, structures, and eventually I find out that many people reach out to me, so they want this approach to the Amazon business. And I sold my Amazon brand. I'm not a seller anymore for more than a year, but I'm involved in dozens of other businesses. So I'm excited to play with spreadsheets. I'm excited about this strategy of conquering the market share. So this is what we do.
Yeah.
And it's not a magic thing. Like usually when I talk to some customers, they say, yeah, like there is no magic. It's a data-driven approach. Yes. You measure, you focus, you measure, you focus, you get results. So
yeah. Absolutely. And I think for our sellers in our Shopkeeper community, I think one thing worth highlighting is if for anybody who doesn't know about how hotel management, hotel revenue management, and now also airline revenue management and cruise ship revenue management, how these departments work, they're just very data driven. Everything is very, very data driven. It's optimization models based on expected demand relative to the inventory you still have available, and your understanding of the price elasticity of your demand. So it's data, but it's not magic. You did this for many years. The science of of inventory management, revenue management has now been around for 40, 50 years. And you're applying very clear principles. Now, on the other hand, you need to know what you're doing. You need to have the kind of background that you have to be able to manipulate a lot of data, to find statistical significance in the data, and to extrapolate and then make guidelines. I don't think anybody can do that. I couldn't do that. And I don't think your average seller, Amazon FBA seller, can do that because it's very involved and requires expertise. But you can do it because you've been doing it in your sleep. But I think your point is, there's no magic. It's not like you're going and inventing something that we have to be like, oh, well, how do we know it's going to work? These approaches have been working for decades. Revenue management has been working for decades. So I think that's important to emphasize to sellers, everything that is actually fairly straightforward and very well established. So with that in mind, Oleg, maybe you can share with us an example scenario of what you've done for a seller, and explain to us what you needed from the seller in order to be able to deliver value. Because some sellers are going to be thinking, oh, all this data, I don't want to deal with all this data. I want to give you all this data. Now you're going to suck up, 20 hours of my time. So I give you data and I'm not even sure. So give us some more meat on the bone about what the seller needs to do for you so that you can help the seller.
Sure. Let me share some screenshots.
Let's do it.
I prepared for you. It will take me 1 minute. Okay, I want to start with this one. Oh, can you allow me sharing screen?
Oh yeah,
on the
absolutely.
Zoom?
Absolutely, of course. There we go. You should be all set now.
Let's go. Okay, let me know if you can see.
Yeah,
this.
we can see it. Here we go. Charts.
Okay,
Line
charts,
graphs, bar charts, my favorite. Let's do it. And now I'm a happy camper now.
Yeah. I'll do your life easy. So basically, this is a timeline. You can see it's from September till November. Okay, it was last year, a few months ago. So this pink bar is a PPC spend. Okay, this is $500 a day. It was a PPC spend on this specific product that seller came to us and say, okay, I'm spending 500 a day, and it used to be very good product, a cash cow for me, but it's not anymore. And this blue bar is your total gross profit. So basically, this product is not profitable at all. You just every day you feed Amazon, you feed your suppliers, you feed everyone, and
but you don't feed yourself.
Account, you don't feed yourself. Okay, and this orange line is ACOS.
Yeah.
Okay, it's everybody know. I don't think it's important, but everybody care about ACOS. We actually don't really care about ACOS only in very few SOPs that we have. What we do care is this blue line is a TACOS.
Music to my ears. Music to my ears. I totally agree with you on this.
Yeah, TACOS is a total ACOS. It's how much you spend in advertisement, return in overall sales. Because this is what we can do on Amazon. If you focus your advertisement in the right place, you can create organics. And this is where you made most of the profit, especially in the US. We have some accounts in Europe. There is still much less competition, so you can enjoy a lot of very cheap PPC clicks. But in the US, most of the markets it's not the case. So we joined in October 10, I think. We did, so what we asked for the seller, give us permission to the account. We don't need any data from you because, as you mentioned, like most people, they don't have time.
Exactly.
If you're a successful Amazon seller, business owner, you don't have time to all this bullshit. So we have our software, one click, everything is downloaded and aggregated and everything, so we see clear picture where we should put the focus, because the structure of all the PPC campaigns were okay. It's more or less by the book. You do the things, but the niche change, the competition change. So we just remove all the, like we call it, waste removal. So we remove all the PPC campaigns that doesn't convert. We don't check ACOS, we check conversion. If the conversion is bad for some keywords or for some advertising type, like usually video is converting well, but headline sometimes doesn't convert. So we focus the budget on the converting thing. And then you see we multiplied PPC spend from 500 to 2,000.
Yep.
Okay, so, and usually this is the most frustrating moment for all the customers.
Well, it's scary. They're scared.
It's very scary. Because like, I was doing this and I was doing that, but there's no result. So like, but we create scientific proof papers.
Yes.
And so it makes it easy. So basically what we do, if you want in like one word, what a Navigator do, we spend all of your budget only on things that convert. This is what we do. Right. But we do it on scale. which takes a lot of time and focus.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So we did it exactly the same thing here. So we focused all the campaigns on the right place. And then you see how it took like 2 weeks. And we have 1,500 daily profit, okay? And even without PPC. So when you focus on the things that do convert, you start to get organic position and everything came. Again, this is a condition.
Yes.
We always do kind of audit if your rating level is fit to the niche, like everybody 4.5 and you 3.9, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Okay, so no magic, as I said, no magic, only numbers.
It's a beautiful chart, though. This is just before you click off. I just want to point out to our sellers, this is a beautiful chart. I mean, what we're looking at is in the beginning, no profit or negative profit, very little, and at the end, let's look at how the profit bars have evolved. And let's look at what's happened to the PPC in the meantime. The PPC, you have to make that initial investment with a Navigator. And that's what you see in the middle of the chart is the increase in PPC spend closer to maybe 2,000 a day. And you have to do that for a little while because that's how you learn. That's how you learn in a statistically significant fashion what's going to convert and what doesn't, and what's going to convert and what won't convert. But once you have that understanding, then you move into the optimization. So you move from the learning phase into the optimization phase. And that's where you get to see the beautiful second half of the chart where actually your PPC spend now has come down, at least for periods. So you're optimizing. And then towards the end, it's very little. And your gross profit is phenomenal, which is also demonstration of the fact that when you do PPC correctly, you accrue not just to your ACOS, but you accrue to your TACOS. And that's really the point. So this is a phenomenal chart. I mean, if you can make this happen for sellers, it's amazing.
I want to, I want to show the same thing, but from another perspective. Now we're talking about profit. This is actually, I know many PPC agencies, they work by PPC revenue or PPC spend. This is a KPIs they sell to the customers. And this is a KPI we work, gross profit. So we commit to your profit, and this is what we try to do.
I have a question on that.
Sure.
Isn't it reasonable to look at the gross profit, but then also look at that net of your PPC spend? Because obviously that's what you're normalizing and that's what you're optimizing. So, I mean, since you and your firm are looking at PPC, don't you want to look at gross profit after the PPC spend?
Sure. Gross profit, it's revenue minus all the PPC spend minus.
Oh, you're including that. Okay, you're including that in your gross, in your cost of goods sold and in your gross margin. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Great.
Absolutely. And I want to share another one here. The same story, but from another perspective. It's not easy to share things in Zoom, but you can.
Okay.
This is exactly the same story, but different chart. Let me explain what's going on. This is a dotted line. It's a BSR. The lower, the better BSR. Okay. And the green bars, it's organic sales, and orange, pink, I don't know how you call it. It's a PPC sales in units. We're talking here units.
Yeah.
So initially, they used to have some organics and very few PPC. So average, it was 40, 50 pieces a day. Well, it was a business. I think it's $25 products, I think. Yeah, something like this. Okay, and then when we started, okay, it's October 15, it was Prime Day, so it was it's still not our magic. Okay, it's just a prime day. It's just a high. But then we started to generate very specific PPC sales on very specific keywords. So the organic started to grow, and then you see 100 pieces a day organic.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you get most of your profit. Again, and we slow down here because the seller get to the stock availability issue, and there is a potential to push more. But sometimes you have to be, calculate what's your velocity and profit.
Yes. So what happened at the end of this chart with the BSR?
Yeah, BSR is 10K, 6K, 10K. It's in home and no, I think it's home and no, it's in home and kitchen. Yes, this product was in home and kitchen. Yeah, again, when you start to push PPC, you get your BSR better.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it was the Christmas coming, and seller was say, okay, I don't need more velocity because otherwise I will get out of stock on Christmas. So
got it. Okay.
yeah, and now in January we're working with him. Our goal now it's maybe 200 pieces because some competitors sell even 300. It's very big competitive niche.
Yes.
Again, you have to prepare yourself.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the ramp up time for working together with you. So let's assume I'm a seller and I've decided, I want to work with a Navigator. I want to work with Oleg.
Yeah.
What are the steps and what's the timeline?
Yeah, basically we start with like initial estimate of growth potential. So you provide us, you connect to our software, and we see, okay, what's your market share? Do you have some conversion? We measure your conversion. We measure few types of conversion. I don't know if you do. It's not easy to do on Amazon. There is a business reports. You can see this traffic thing, yeah. and we measure 8 types of conversion, but
okay,
another webinar.
Yeah.
Okay, so we check your conversion. We check on the Keeper if your rating is consistent, because and sometimes it's selling amazing if it's 5-star. Like you launch new product, you have 10 reviews 5-star, and it's like going as peanuts, and then your rating get to 3.9. So this is what we check. And again, if you've been running some PPC, we check all the search term reports, everything, what's the potential semantically and everything.
Yeah.
And it takes a few days.
A few days.
2-3 days,
okay.
Usually, yeah.
Okay.
Because we do it to answer to ourselves, can we help you?
Right.
Because we're not signing everyone. We just, we try to focus there we can be any help.
Yeah.
It's basically our qualification process. And then we can build initial estimates. Okay, we can grow in 1 quarter, maybe 50%, 100%. And usually this is a place where many small players go. Like now it's January, it's before Chinese New Year. So many 50K month sellers, they say, oh no, I need to check with my supplier if we can do this. So, okay. This time of the year, it's problematic because in China, nobody signs new contracts and no commitment.
Right.
Okay, bigger players, they more organized.
Right.
So, okay, they define okay, we want to grow 30% a month, 50% quarter. So we define goals. Again, it's like availability of both sides. So we need to talk.
Yes.
It's very, very personal because every seller, they have the 3PL place and things like this, and it's every case is unique. So this is the most long part of
Yeah.
agreement. And then if we start to work, usually we commit to 2 weeks of internal test. So like we need 2 weeks to make our hands dirty in your specific case
Mm-hmm.
to get to more clear forecasting.
Okay.
Because we did initial forecast, we see the potential, but what we do for the first 2 weeks, we try, like we have a list of 63 tools that we use. It's more or less you do this type of campaign, you do this thing, and we have some experience what things work for all kinds of niches. So, but we need 2 weeks to try things that we think will work in your case, and this brings us to more clear understanding of the potential. How fast can we grow?
Okay.
So we do another call, like, okay, meet the goal, expectation, possibilities, and then you enjoy watching your revenue growth and profit growth chart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Usually, yeah.
so let me make sure I understand. So we sign up with you. We've got to give you access to our data. You're going to spend a few days pulling the data. You're going to run it through some of your analytical tools, and that's your qualification process. So you decide, okay, does this fit with a Navigator's mission to add value? Once you do that, so let's say that takes a week. Let's just say. Then obviously there's a discussion about the plan, and then the next step is for you to run about 2 weeks of tests, which is a learning and evaluation opportunity for you to see what's the it's basically going to answer the question: can a navigator do what it thinks it can do? Does the market support these strategies? And then that's going to be 2 weeks. You're going to spend some marketing money on that, obviously, in order to learn. And then after that, you're going to go.
We try to be very low budget in all these experiments.
It doesn't. It's not right. It doesn't have to take a lot. And then after the 2 weeks, you're going to look at the lessons that you've drawn. And that's when you then go to the seller and say, listen, this is it. We've got the strategy. We've got the data. This is what we want to do. This is where we want to go. Let's go and let's do it. Okay. So usually, how long is the lifetime of your assignment with your clients? Do you work with them for X days, X weeks, X months? I'm sure it's different also depending on the seller and so on and so forth, but what's the general expectation?
Usually it takes like 3 to 6 months to get on the full track with every niche. We usually work by niche. So if you have products from different niches, so every niche is a separate story. But to get to the maximum potential of the niche, it's like 3 to 6 months. Again, we also, in many cases, we provide guidance what you need to do with your listing to leverage all the strategies. Because, for example, now we not bring on board customers that work one product only. Because now we work if you have a line of products.
A portfolio.
Or at least virtually have like 1 pack, 2 pack, 3 pack, because it's getting almost impossible if someone comes in with a line and you have only one product. They conquer the market and usually this is one of our advice. Okay, you need to
expand,
multiply. It's more or less the same product. You don't have to create new. Like things like this, or for example, now we signed new customer this week, and it's a beauty product, and all of his models are like European faces. Okay, all the beauty products. So, and we know exactly from our experience that you have to put different diversity of ethnics in your images. It increased conversion by 20% for most of the beauty brands that we work. So you have to do it. And then again, it's on the execution power of
Right.
the brand.
Right. Yeah. Understood.
It's not in our hands.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
Yeah.
usually after 6 months, we kind of upgrade our conversation. We're looking for partnership.
Yeah.
We suggest partnership.
Right.
So
Right. Okay.
again, some people we fire. So some people it's all about really. It's like we want to enjoy working with them
Yes.
because what we do, it's a kind of critical part of the business.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if you're
Of
Amazon
course.
seller,
Of course.
you check your Shopkeeper dashboard daily to see
Yes.
if you get your revenue and profit.
Absolutely.
Okay, and you kind of outsource it to this Oleg guy,
Yes.
and like you wake up one day and there's something wrong on the chart, and like you feel wrong because this is a critical part of the business.
Absolutely.
So it's very trustworthy relationship should be. So and
Okay, so 3 to 6 months. What's the just at a high level? What's the general terms of working with you? Is it a monthly retainer or a percentage of PPC spend, or how does it work?
we start like first 6 months. We always do the flat fee.
Got it. Okay.
But it's basically based on what gross profit we can help you to increase. Like
Right.
more or less, if your gross profit is 10K months and we see the potential to bring you to 20, so like, okay, we say like, it costs two a month or 3.
Got it.
It
Okay.
depends.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think just again for our sellers, I want to just bring home the point again. So what you're doing, I think, is not what typical PPC agencies are doing, and there's a lot of PPC agencies out there. So help us sellers understand, okay, in a nutshell, how are you different? What is it that you're doing that most PPC agencies are not doing?
Again, I don't want to insult anyone, and I have friends that running PPC agencies, and but I think the biggest difference is a KPI. Most PPC agencies, and I was hiring some, and actually we did this exercise I think back in November.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking with maybe 15 PPC agencies, different scales from like freelancers to like very big known brands in the space with one of our accounts to get some what they can do. And the KPIs they're working, the best one, I think they're working on like how much of PPC revenues they will generate you. If they work on the PPC spend,
right,
I think please.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Listen, you follow what you measure.
Job security.
You follow what you measure. So the typical, and I think this is well known, and I think our sellers know this. The typical PPC agency is taking a percentage of of the marketing that they're spending for you. So obviously, the more money they spend, the more money they make, and that does not necessarily take into consideration how that spend is performing. Of course, everybody talks about ACOS and TACOS and conversion, but at the end of the day, the incentives matter. And so your model really is a gross profit focused model as opposed to a campaign spend focused model. That's what you mean, I think, when you say the KPI is different. And I think that speaks a lot to the value. And I think also the fact that you're taking into consideration things like market share, competitive intensity, looking at the gross profit and how the gross profit is being impacted. I think these are also things that are going to affect how your execution strategy. I'll tell you something else, a very obvious thing that we see. Listen, negative, keywords to exclude. Okay, excluding keywords that are inefficient is absolutely critical to PPC campaign optimization and performance. By the way, it's also can be painful. Okay, there's a lot of keywords that need to be excluded. The more campaigns you run, the more time you run, the more products you're in. It's not just the more keywords you go after; it's also the more keywords you have to exclude. You know that very well. Well, guess what? If you exclude keywords, you're also limiting the spend around those keywords. So different agencies with different incentives are going to view the prioritization of excluding keywords differently. For you, this is what you're going to start doing on day one. I mean, you basically already said it at the beginning of the interview. You're going to start excluding keywords that don't perform well. That's not necessarily how all agencies are going to think about things. And you know what? Even if they tell you,
it was the only option 4 or 5 years ago, because Amazon PPC, it's very limited tool.
Right.
It's getting better and better.
It's getting better,
so 5 years ago, but now it's getting. And another difference is like many PPC agencies, there's this speech, we can lower your ACOS.
Right.
Okay. And we say sometimes in specific business goals, your ACOS can be very high.
Absolutely.
But then you get organic.
Absolutely. Listen, I think this is a critical point that you're making, which I think you and I need to have another conversation about this to share with our community. But look, to talk about ACOS is to rely exclusively on Amazon's attribution of that spend.
Yeah.
Which is yeah, exactly. Let's put aside the fact that there's a whole lot of magic that's put it, to what that attribution is. What about all the non-attributed sales? I don't understand, which is exactly why you need to look at TACOS. And you're not running a business just on the ACOS. Your P&L doesn't just end at ACOS. Your P&L ends at TACOS. So I'm with you 100% on this. Listen, I think this is very exciting and very encouraging for our community. I think this, by the way, this topic of ACOS versus TACOS is going to become, I think we're going to see in the next, it already is, but I think we're going to see more and more, it's more and more controversial and more debate around it. I can tell you from the shopkeeper view that most of our sellers really still are focused on ACOS. And we are encouraging them to think about TACOS. And I think it's just a question of time, till the education and the awareness is there. And what you're doing is, I think, helping with that a lot. And I think it's exciting. I also think I just want to remind our sellers that you can benefit a lot from the analytical access and the experience that a Navigator has without having to jump through hoops yourself and manage 100 spreadsheets and do all this pivot tabling. Listen, we get it. This is why Shopkeeper exists. We exist because sellers don't want to have to deal with downloading all these business reports from Amazon Seller Central and then pivoting them themselves. It's a lot of work. And even if you're really good at it, you don't have time for it. So I think we're on the same page about the value that you're providing. And you, in your experience, in terms of coming from revenue management and hotel, I think you're providing a whole other strategic layer of thinking to how this does. That's why I find the graphs very compelling. I think it would be great I think it's going to be great to share this with our community. So I'm really excited about doing that. And I think we should have you back. I think we should talk more about some of these strategic conversations. I think it would be great. Share with our sellers before you go. What's the best way to contact you? And what's the best way to prepare for contacting you so that you have the most meaningful conversation for you qualifying them and them qualifying you?
Yeah, I will give you a link so you can post it below.
Great.
It's my email, oleg@anavigator.co. It's not .com, it's .co.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fancy. Okay. And this is the easiest way. And to prepare, you need to be clear on your rating sustainability. How stable is your rating if you do anything. We also provide some guidance how to use gift cards and all this review request, blah, 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 but it's long-term strategy. If you don't have it in place, you need it eventually. And if you know your conversion,
yes, that's key. That's key.
Welcome, but we can measure everything.
Right,
just,
right,
you know.
right. So I think,
and another thing is but usually the biggest problem I have is all like conversations with customers, potential. They say, yeah, we can scale, we can bring as much inventory as, but it's never a case. Please be honest about your supply chain capacity.
Yeah. That's a great point. Because you need to take into consideration those constraints when you set your goals and your ambitions. And you can't help a seller achieve realistic goals if they don't have a realistic plan for bringing the goods at the end of the day.
As a way, you push a lot of energy and marketing budget to gain your positions, and you go out of stock and you lose everything, and so you do it again.
Absolutely, it's a story that unfortunately we hear about more often than we'd like. Well, this is great. I'm so glad that we spent the time with you, that we're sharing this with our shopkeeper community. I love the charts. I think those are beautiful charts, by the way.
I have much more. We can talk.
I think we need to have you back. I think we need to talk about more of these issues. I know our sellers have a lot of questions, so I'm looking forward to it. And thanks again for the time. All right.
Thank you.